The best thing we can be doing for sustainability is getting as many people living in walkable neighborhoods as possible.
Do you see what's happening? They're building it. People are moving in. This is the biggest breakthrough for sustainability in my lifetime. Months ago, I promised to showcase real-world examples of sustainable urbanism. Last week, I visited Culdesac, Tempe, the first car-free community in the US in 70 years. This is massive because it breaks the environmental death grip of car-dependent sprawl. I've been a Culdesac fan for 4 years, so my expectations were already high. But the community I saw taking shape and the chance to ask CEO Ryan Johnson how they did it and what comes next blew my mind. Welcome to Edenicity, best practices for sustainably abundant cities. Sustainability used to mean austerity, inconvenience, and personal sacrifice. For decades, most of us assumed that if we just consumed less, maybe we could stop harming the environment. But some of us began to question that. Instead of just trying to do less of everything, we asked, how can we redesign our built world to serve us better without harming the living world? The biggest harms were caused by things we didn't seem to have any control over. Our neighborhoods and cities were designed for cars. Every home and business has legal parking mandates. These create blazing asphalt wastelands. Yet strangely enough, we also feel crowded on noisy, dangerous roads. The more we tried to escape, the more our pattern of land use sprawled. Culdesac breaks this pattern. It will put 760 apartments on 17 acres with no private parking for residents. That's 8 to 16 times the density of many suburbs. And as you can see, it feels safer and less crowded than detached houses in a sea of streets crammed with cars. Let that sink in. Much denser and less crowded. That's the power of design. If you grew up bored in the suburbs with nowhere to go and nothing to do, density is your new friend. The Tempe site is less than 25% built, but already you can walk to shops, a convenience store that is truly convenient, a gym, a dance studio, lounges, and outdoor hangouts. We'll also talk about Phase 2 coming this summer, which adds another big amenity. But first, be sure to like and subscribe, if you haven't already, so you don't miss any more jubilant moments like this. My visit was brief, a one-day stopover on my way to visit family. I took the Valley Metro from the Phoenix airport. The train was reasonably full, and having grown up riding public transit, I felt a little nostalgic riding with people from so many walks of life. There's a stop directly in front of Culdesac which offers free transit passes to residents. I arrived at the start of Little Choya, a weekly night market. It was unusually cold, rainy, and windy, but the market and music event still attracted an enthusiastic crowd. Culdesac has overnight rentals, so people can check it out. My apartment overlooked the car-free Central Paseo and the market. Traffic from Apache Boulevard was loud in the courtyard, but the apartment was quiet. I spent the next day touring the facilities and riding around Tempe on an electric bike they let me borrow. Tempe is in the Sonoran Desert, not my usual climate, so I was surprised it had a waterfront, complete with rainbow trout. Later, Rob Maloney, the marketing director, showed me around. I asked Rob what it's been like as people moved in and the community started to take shape.
The vibe's been incredible. Honestly, one of the coolest parts is getting to witness the community and just the energy that you can find. And from the micro retailers to the Little Choya nights every Thursday to the community market to the restaurant, there's always something going on, and it's incredible how the space is filled with things to do, whether you're interested in that energy and that vibe and you get a lot of energy from the uplifting social gatherings, or you just like to find a quiet space to relax.
Rob was also helping me find someone on the development team to interview. The light in my apartment was perfect for this, and I had everything set up. But then Rob texted some good news with a twist. CEO Ryan Johnson would be available to talk with me. But since his team was preparing for a big event with the entire board of directors, would I mind meeting him at the Culdesac offices a few blocks away? Okay, no problem. I borrowed this e-bike for the trip. At the time of my visit, Culdesac was still offering free e-bikes like this one to the first 200 residents. You see e-bikes everywhere. The building where I stayed had covered parking, a tire pump and repair station, and one of the city's top bike shops, Archer's, in the front. Let me just stop right there. Do you know how big a deal that is to have a bike shop right there where you live? I've bike commuted in cities, country roads, suburbs, and the bike shops were always miles away. That's a problem if a bike is your only transportation and you need some work done. It was nice to have the electric assist so I wouldn't slow Rob down too much. Turns out he's an Ironman triathlete. By the time I interviewed Ryan Johnson in a quiet side office, my camera battery was low, my mic was acting up, it was getting dark. Just know that he's a lot more lighthearted, friendly, and tall than I was able to capture in this video. The first thing I wanted to know was, how has Culdesac unlocked sustainability for cities?
Culdesac has become the reference project for how to build walkable housing in the US in the 2020s, where it's now the thing that people can point to. When you're building a new concept, people ask questions. It's a stodgy, slow-moving industry, and cities, investors, etc. ask, where is this done before? Now everybody can point to Culdesac. We're already seeing a number of changes, and the awareness of walkability, well-designed streets, safe streets, etc. Is really continuing to accelerate. A lot of the tailwinds that power this business are still growing. This is going to be a big trend, and hopefully Culdesac can help accelerate that. We want to see these neighborhoods everywhere. We have big plans ourselves, but also we want to unlock everyone else.
Many developers have wanted to do walkable neighborhoods, but parking mandates and zoning have gotten in the way. I wondered what it was like working with the Tempe government, and which came first, the zoning or Culdesac?
Culdesac came first. We looked all across the country for where had the right conditions for this to work, and a key ingredient is being able to get support. And we worked with Tempe to make that happen. Their support has evolved from initially allowing the project to happen. Now the city loves it, neighbors love it, it's brought a lot to the area. And the city is now even independently carrying the vision. There's a few exciting things they're doing, including building a protected bike lane that are really adding to the city.
Culdesac has a visitor parking lot and a car sharing scheme with electric charging stations. But the question is, how does removing cars improve people's lives?
Yeah, it's so much more than just removing something. This is creating a rich, vibrant life. People are happier, healthier, wealthier when there's not a car. This enables, instead of a sea of asphalt, we have lots of open space. We have lots of amenities. We have art. And these are things that wouldn't be possible if there was just parking.
He's right about the art. It's everywhere, on buildings, electrical boxes, in the gym, and the dance studio, with detailed signage. But I wondered what this did for people in their day-to-day lives.
There's been community forming out of thin air. We build places that are great for connections. There's a loneliness epidemic in the US. Part of that's because of the built environment. We've been building the wrong kind of housing in the US for 100 years, where we wouldn't know our neighbors. We would build single-family homes with a painful commute that were lonely, or mid-rise buildings where people just go to their unit with double-loaded corridors and don't look at their neighbor as they're passing by. And instead, this is a space where you know your neighbor, there's more spontaneous connections, there's great community spaces, and that's made possible because there's not just a sea of parking that people are going to. And it's seeing that happening, and when people love that community and it starts to thrive on its own.
Okay, so we're already seeing how walkable neighborhoods improve people's lives. But do most people understand that? Is this what most Americans want?
The majority of the US wants to live in a walkable neighborhood, but few do. Right? Even using a generous description of walkability, only 8% of Americans do. And the National Association of Realtors, they did a study that said that every generation would pay more to live in a walkable neighborhood, including 92% of Gen Z. We're just not building enough.
You might wonder if it's too hot to bicycle in the hot southern Arizona summers. But in this blog post, Culdesac staffer Alexis points out that compared to getting into a car when it's over 100 degrees outside, you'll agree that biking with a breeze is 20 times better than riding around in an oven and burning yourself on everything inside of it. But this is a design show, so I thought it fair to ask, how does Culdesac's design protect it from the desert heat?
There's three things that help us feel 15 degrees cooler than the apartment complex next door. There's not a drop of asphalt on the site. The buildings are white, which reflects heat. And there's narrow corridors that create lots of shade.
So if the power went out, you'd want to be in Culdesac.
Be a great place to be.
What are your immediate growth plans on the site in terms of units and amenities? And I've got to say, I did hear rumors about a pool, which has me
That's not
excited.
a rumor. The pool opens this summer.
Sweet.
We just completed phase 1, actually. We just got certificate of occupancy for our first phase. That's where we're actually celebrating with our team tonight. And that gets 174 units plus the retail space. And phase 2 is underway, which gives us over 100 additional units, including the pool, which people are very excited about, and another park. We're going to have eventually 1,000 residents. It's not just what we're doing in Culdesac. There's also an entire set of developments springing up around us. And that's going to create a flywheel effect where that's going to make a more thriving space now worthy amenity for other spaces. It makes our retailers more thriving. As this whole area is changing and evolving in a better way.
How will overall quality of life improve as walkable neighborhoods catch on?
The best thing that you want to have next to where you live is a walkable neighborhood. Today, we're a walkable neighborhood that's next to other things that are still car dependent. They're evolving. But when you have multiple walkable neighborhoods next to each other, now you can have even more interesting things and even more synergy. We think that we need to build millions and millions of walkable housing units in the US, and they will make the neighborhoods where they go better everywhere. The best thing we can be doing for sustainability is getting as many people living in walkable neighborhoods as possible.
Yes.
And our role in this is to prove that walkable neighborhoods will work. And that's the biggest unlock that we can do.
I was thrilled at this because it speaks to 3 of the 5 pillars of Edenicity: car-free, multifamily, mixed-use cities that provide their own food and energy on site. Remember, our goal is to end the mass extinction by reversing the sprawl that destroys wild habitats. But whatever we do, it must provide a higher quality of life or people won't choose it. In the US, getting the zoning approvals for the first 3 items hasn't been possible until now. That's why Culdesac is such a breakthrough.
We're always looking for the right partners to work with. And when people understand walkability and the benefits of it, then those are people we're excited to work with.
Culdesac is really happening. It's a great look for sustainability, and it's catching on fast. Let me know in the comments where you would like to see something like this happen next. Oh, and by the way, if you really want to see some gorgeous video of Culdesac, I've linked several of my other channels in the description. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. Take care, stay green, see you next time.